All right. Hello, and welcome to what we're calling Big Man Sports, where size is a number on a scale. Are we using that as an opening? Should I change it?
No, it's all good, man.
Well, stuff is happening around the world in sports. Well, I say around the world, around America in sports and everything else going on. And we're here to try and figure out what's going on. We're going to start with our favorite sport, or at least partially my favorite sport. Football.
Foosball.
I'm dying here. It's spring and I'm just dying.
I didn't quite get that. I'm hard of hearing.
Dude, sorry, man. I went to a website just to kind of get some current stuff, and there's a video that won't shut up, man.
Same thing.
It's like mandatory. You watch the damn video.
Yeah,
man.
some websites do that. I have that issue with my headphones, but
Dude, I'm so sick of that stuff, man. It's like, ugh.
should we restart?
No, we're winning this, right?
Oh, God. I miss having notes. Well, I guess to say football free agency has happened, and today the Browns made their biggest move for, in my opinion, mixed reactions.
I don't know, man. Look, you could call him character, the guy into question, man, but, Deshaun Watson, 26 years old, he's a talented dude. If you look at the numbers compared to Baker, he's got better numbers, man.
Right, and I'm not saying obviously this is a sour taste in my mouth, just having him on the team and cheering for him. It's kind of like having Big Ben as your quarterback. It's yay, but also bleh.
If you think about it from a strategic perspective for the Browns, they've got one of the top 5 running games in all of football. And you just added an athletic quarterback who can run the ball, throw the ball, and, really work the pocket. It's that's a huge game for them, man. And if they're committed to win, that's huge. I mean, the contract was massive. $230 million guaranteed over 5 years. Man.
Right.
I mean,
and
the largest contract for a single player ever.
And right. I know the cap is magic, so I'm not too worried about that. My thing is just I'm going to ignore everything else that comes with having Deshaun, but having Deshaun kind of means that, well, first off, my big thing is I don't know what's going to happen to Deshaun next season. Because it's
What do you mean?
he could still get suspended.
Well, I know, but that's why you try to keep Baker,
Well, we're trying to trade Baker now. The rumors are we're talking to the Colts.
Sure. I mean, again, the Colts need somebody, right? They just traded away Wentz, the Commanders, or whatever the hell that football team name is.
You had it right, the commies. It is the dumbest name. You would have been better off going with the Spiders or something.
No, dumbest name is the Guardians.
At least the Guardians have some city history.
Yeah, but it means nothing to anybody else in the rest of the country. So
I mean, fair enough. I honestly would have liked the Spiders to come back. I just like spiders. But I don't know. My thing is just if he doesn't play for us next year and we do poorly, we just handle my thing is we have to win at least enough. Our bare minimum for success, in my opinion, has to be making sure that those 3 first-round picks are late round. And I know picks are magic beans and all that, but it's just if we hand away a top 15 pick, I'm gonna be son of a bitch. I would have liked to have had that pick. Maybe we don't use it right, but we've hit on high picks in the past, and I'd like to have kept that and see what our front office could do with it if having Deshaun Watson amounts to a top 15 pick.
Yep.
I'm also annoyed. Sorry, I interrupted. I'm also annoyed because the only other my backup team is the Vikings. So I'm damn it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. If you look at our division, though,
it's murderous wrong.
You got literally some of the top quarterbacks in all of football in our division. You with Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, and now Deshaun Watson.
Hey, you're forgetting Mitch.
Oh yeah, trust me, he's worth forgetting.
I'm waiting for the Steelers to win the Super Bowl with him. I really am. I will cry if it happens, but I'll be so amused by it.
I like Mitch Trubisky because he's an Ohio guy, but the kid has shown some promise. I don't think he's ever really gotten a really fair shot.
No, Matt Nagy did him no favors. Like Matt Nagy did Justin Fields no favors.
Right. No, Nagy's a douche. So it's like, they haven't helped that kid at all. So, and the Steelers are a good organization. They know how to train people that look untrainable. That don't
pains me to say that.
Premier. I mean, it's like, they do a wonderful job. They really do. And so I think the biggest thing that hurts the Steelers is Juju Smith-Schuster leaving for the Chiefs, man.
Right, and I know that sucks, but it's like Juju wasn't a number one receiver on a team. Like that wasn't what he was great at. He was great at being like a number two.
Yeah, but their number one was that one younger dude. Can't remember.
AB.
No, because he's been gone from the Steelers for a long time.
Oh, I was saying for a long time, AB was number one. I don't remember. I don't.
Last year, that young kid out of Notre Dame, man.
God. Made fun of the Browns and we ran him over. Whose name I'm forgetting.
Yeah, and he I mean, he's going to be a talent, and he's going to be their number one. But Juju was just like one of those guys that, on third down, that's who you find.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I think Juju's good. I think going to the Chiefs is great for him because the Chiefs are Super Bowl contenders like normal. God. That division is a hellhole. But, I think that's a great pickup because you kind of have your number one wide receivers with Kelsey and... oh my god, I'm blanking on names. I know exactly who it is, too. I'm not awake. I'm very tired right now. But you have your number ones out there. It's like having him is helpful. It helps build some depth there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
How so?
Well, I mean, you're adding another high-octane weapon at the number two position, which they had kind of a number two, but I feel like Juju's a really good number two to add, and they got him for good value.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, man.
Yeah. Kind of jumping along to other teams and stuff, I guess my main goal for doing this today is that I wanted to give my opinion on the Deshaun thing, and it's ignoring all legal everything. My big issues with this is how we handled it with Baker, because I feel like we shot him in the foot and then said start running.
Say that again?
I feel like the beginning of his career, we shot him in the foot. Then we made the playoffs. Then he played injured.
I don't think we shot him in the foot. And look, at the end of the day...
I feel like any quarterback that started with us when we had Hugh Jackson, we shot in the foot. That's kind of just my take on everything.
Yeah, again, you can say that all day long, right? Having that stupid hillbilly Freddie Kitchens as the head coach, yeah. That's,
tell me how you really feel.
Yeah, I mean that dude he shows up with stains on his shirt, wearing stupid Steeler hating T-shirts and things.
Right, and I guess I'm being a little strong worded here, and I'm obviously not trying to say that Baker's the greatest quarterback of all time, but I guess what I'm trying to say is I feel like Baker gave us a really good year, then he played injured, and that's kind of on us and him for not making him stop.
Yeah, you know what? I applaud the fact that he tried to gut it out.
Oh, I applaud it. It just obviously it wasn't working, and I think somebody in the organization had to go, look, we respect you for this, we thank you for trying, but you playing injured isn't helping us. We need you to sit down, get the surgery, and be ready to go.
Yeah. Look, at the end of the day, man, I applaud the guy. I think it just shows his grit, his guts. And I got nothing against Baker. They gave him 4 years, right? And I think he did a nice job in those 4 years with what he had. But I do think he squandered some opportunities last year, man. I think when he started out the season healthy and he had the wide receivers and he had the people around him, he didn't take advantage of it. He was up and down. He was up and down.
True.
You know?
But last year just wasn't I feel like last year for the Browns was one of those years where it's like there were issues everywhere. Like, when Baker was healthy, I think the team had issues with play calling or just running the team well. I feel like we got in our own heads and shot ourselves in the foot. Like, obviously Baker had issues, I do agree, but I guess I'm of the mindset of, like, I kind of wanted one more year to see and look at Baker to see what he could do. Because I felt like our team was good enough that if Baker played like he did 2 years ago, we were a threat. Maybe we don't make the Super Bowl, but I think we hit the playoffs running. I think we hit the playoffs with a really good chance to make a splash.
Yeah, at the end of the day, as a head coach, I'm sure you sit back and you look at it and say, you know what, do I have the piece to make Baker successful? And maybe at the end of the day, you just don't have the pieces to make Baker successful. And I'm telling you, Stefanski is a running guy, Mm-hmm. You add Sean Watson into our backfield and have him as another running back there when you have Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt coming out just pounding away. It's good, when these guys commit to the run, you just picked up Amari Cooper, right? You signed in Njoku as your franchise guy. You've got Higgins, you got Schwartz, you got
yeah,
man, and it's not Hooper, but the other tight end that we have, Bryant.
Yes.
I mean, you know what? When they commit to that run, you got little peel-offs coming with tight ends, and you got deep routes coming from the big guys, man. And you're going to be really, hard to stop. And I appreciate them going, hey, we're just not going to get it done, with Baker. Now, I'm sure they don't hate Baker. I'm sure that they would stay with Baker if there were no other options. But there's options,
Yeah, and I part of me is just kind of bitter because I feel like we handled this really poorly as a team for somebody that obviously wanted to play for us. And, like, I guess as me, it's like, I've been a Browns fan since I've kind of remembered the ability to like football. And so I'm like, let's say 9 or 10 years old, I kind of understood football a little bit. I didn't get super into it till like high school and like end of elementary school, like end of middle school, high school. But it's like, I just feels kind of bad because like the Browns were nothing for so long. And then we got Baker, and it felt like he wanted to play for us, and that he was like emotionally in on the team, and just the way we treated him kind of just rubbed me the wrong way. Because like we kind of came out and said, "Hey, Baker's our guy," and then immediately about faced, and I was like, "I'm sorry, what?"
Yeah, see, and I don't feel like they did that. I think Baker just wants to be a leader on any team he's on. I don't think he was like all Browns all day, right?
I get you. I think you have a point there. It just kind of like the way the Browns went about it rubbed me the wrong way because like they said Baker will be our guy next year. That was at least the rumor I heard online. And then it's like immediately, I hear news that we're going for Watson, and I'm like, I'm sorry, what? It just felt like we about faced so quickly, and it just felt like we didn't do right by the player. Obviously, I'm being overly sentimental to this, but I just felt like we didn't owe Baker a lot, but I feel like we could have been slightly more nice about that.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, it's business, man.
Yeah, you're right.
You look at a guy who's a 60.5% completion guy, 3,000 yards, 17 TDs, 13 interceptions, and 7.2 yards per attempt. And those are underwhelming numbers, man. And it's like when your game is a running game and your passing game isn't enough of a threat to take people off the run, you got to do something about that, man. And they've got the best line in football, and it's like if your line can't win the game for you in that situation, then you've got to have something else that's more of a threat back there. And, again, I love the guy. Baker did a great job for us for 4 years. Nobody should trash that dude. He should be, thanked for being as, much of a team guy in a Cleveland situation as anybody, man. And I don't know. I don't see any downside to this. I think Baker's going to land somewhere. The Colts sound like a great opportunity for him,
well,
man.
the Colts need a quarterback, and apparently they're interested. The other rumor I heard is the Seahawks are interested. Either one is good. I'd rather see him go to the Colts and be successful there just because I think the Colts are more put together.
Yeah, I don't know how he fits with Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll is has been used to one quarterback, and that's Russell Wilson, who gave you that triple threat, where, Baker doesn't give you the triple threat. He's a double threat, right? He's a guy, he's either going to wing the ball or he's going to hand it off, man. He's not going to be the guy who runs for, 60 yards in a game, man.
Yeah, and, my opinion on Baker is that, this is sort of my take on him. This is sort of the awkward compartmentalization I have in my head of this. I didn't even say that word right. Jesus. The word I kind of had in my head was sort of he's sort of that Rivers tier of quarterback. Obviously, I think Phillip Rivers is better than he was at the end of his career compared to now, even at any point. But I think he's that quarterback where it's when healthy and when playing well, he will not be the reason you lose a game. He will not be the reason you win a game.
Yeah, he can, but he can be the reason you win a game. Just with his grit, just with his, the way he attacks the game and the way he leads.
Yeah, he's a
good leader.
I'm being very general here, but I feel like there's a tier of quarterback where it's they're obviously talented, they can be NFL starters, but they're not your Aaron Rodgerses, they're not your Russell Wilsons, they're not your Watsons, they're not your Josh Allens, they're not your they're not your Patrick Mahomes. They're not that, but they're very much good enough to win games with a team around them.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's just kind of my opinions on it. I want to kind of talk about it with somebody and then yell at the internet about my opinions. Do you want to take a look at some other free agent signings?
Sure. Like I said, Juju Smith-Schuster was a big one.
Right. Russell Wilson was a big one.
Yeah, Devontae Adams. Holy crap, man.
No one saw that coming, but hot damn.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be, a huge blow for Aaron Rodgers, man.
I mean, yeah, it hurts, and, he doesn't have a whole lot of other wide receivers.
You know what? And I think the Raiders are going to be a team to really look out for in the West, man. I like Carr. I think that dude's a competitor. I think he's a good quarterback.
Yeah.
They were already pretty loaded with talent. I think their defense needs work, but man, the Devontae Adams out there, man. If Carr can, throw those pinpoint passes like Rodgers, man, that dude's gonna tear some people up.
Right, and even that that's the AFC West itself is just monstrous because you have the Chiefs. Nothing else really needs to be said.
Chargers, yep.
Chargers. They've added so much. They've added J.C. Jackson. They've added... Yeah, so why are you... One second. It's being difficult because this piece of garbage does not want to work. There we go. Just give me the Chargers. There we go. Yeah, Chargers added Khalil Mack. They got J.C. Jackson. They added... Josh Harris is a long snapper, but I feel like it's important to add.
Yeah.
And it's you have Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack is old. He's 31.
That's not old.
Okay, for an NFL player.
He's a beast, though.
He is. And I think that's just a monstrous pickup. Your defense was your biggest issue. If you can stop the run, good.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt, man. But, you're forgetting about one team over there. That's Broncos, man.
I was going to get to them next. The Broncos, you gave up a bit in the trade, which I don't hate. What you gave up is I think the worst thing you gave up is Shelby Harris and Noah Fant in that trade. Because I think Noah Fant had a lot of potential and he was being used very well. I think he had good use. And I think Shelby Harris is just giving up a solid interior D lineman. It hurts in ways that you don't really notice until you see your defense be worse.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think they replaced him with DJ Jones, but
yeah. No, I think the Broncos are going to be another one to watch out there, man. I think the West is going to really. I think the West and the North are going to be the two divisions this year, rather than the East. That you really got to look out for.
Coming out of the East, though, you got the Bills.
Yeah, well, that's what I was about to say. Buffalo's going to be, pretty tough out of there. But if you're playing the West and the North, I think the Bills are going to have a tough road to hoe, man. I think
True.
They're going to have to really, 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 fight. And I don't think they did anything in the offseason, did they?
Bills added Von Miller.
That's it.
Well, I mean, there wasn't much else I feel like they needed to or could do because, I mean, they signed a right guard. I mean, got Von Miller from the Rams. They got O.J. Howard. I feel like tight end wasn't a major thing to be addressed.
Yeah.
And, I mean, an interior D lineman. They haven't done a whole lot. They've obviously re-signed people as well, which that's important always, but...
Yeah. I think when you look at the free agents that are still out there, too, you still got Jadeveon Clowney, who's a free agent. You got Akeem Hicks, who's a free agent.
Right, and, I think going along with that, I interrupted, apologies, but I think having Deshaun on the Browns tells us that we want people, and we have about, I think, $30 million cap space, give or take.
How much?
30 mil.
Yeah, I'd go out and pick up Akeem Hicks, man, to be honest with you.
Right, getting Akeem Hicks or getting Jadeveon Clowney back, that's super helpful. Not having the first round, I think, kind of hurts this year because I would have loved to have picked up a wideout or a defensive player, preferably a DB.
You never know, though, man. There's talented people in the second and third rounds that are absolutely,
Oh yeah, I know. I was in the mindset of I really wanted to double up early on and then go from there. But as I said, this kind of works out. But I think going from the AFC, the NFC is I feel like a lot has happened, but nothing has really changed.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Well, Arizona Cardinals picked up Colt McCoy. I can't even believe that dude's still in football.
Hey, he won games for him. Arizona's weird. They lost Chandler Jones, they lost Jordan Hicks, they lost Christian Kirk for far too much money, and they lost Chase Edmonds.
But they picked up quite a few people, man.
Right. They re-signed Zach Ertz for a lot of money, which I'm nervous about.
$10 million a year.
Right, at 32 years old. I mean, he's good, and he did well on the team, but that was a one-year thing, and you guys collapsed at the end of the year.
Well, and that was Kyler Murray. He collapsed.
Well, the entire team fell apart.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like the NFC, despite everything that's happened, I mean, Green Bay, they got Rodgers back, that's huge. But
they got no wide receivers. The only guy he threw to was Devontae Adams, and he's gone. Right,
but on that note, you do have Randall Cobb. You have a veteran wide receiver there. He is 32 years old. Preston Smith came back. You got a solid edge rusher. Devondre Campbell came back. I mean, you're getting your O-line back. Alan Lazard is coming back. You have Josh Neiman, which I think is always helpful. It's just the Packers are bringing a lot of pieces back. I think the ultimate question is because I think Rodgers can make any wide receiver good, but having a good wide receiver makes it that much better.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Yeah, and I feel like if you're if these are far too. What's up?
Remember I mentioned being able to throw to Higgins? I just found out that Carolina Panthers picked him up.
Dang.
We don't even have Rashard Higgins. Oh, right. My bad.
All good. I that sounded right in my head, and for some reason I just completely forgot about it. I remember seeing him on the list of free agents before we were going into this as I was looking over stuff, and I just completely blanked.
Man, the Bears didn't pick up crap in the offseason, dude.
The Bears have basically openly said we're going. The Bears have said, all right, it's rebuild season, people.
Dude, they were rebuilding last year, too. I mean, how long you got to rebuild?
Well, considering they switched quarterbacks and just fired their head coach and GM.
Man, the Bengals did a lot in the offseason, too, man.
The Bengals kind of had to. Obviously, you guys will be competitive, but we very clearly identified your weakness, Bengals. You don't have an offensive line, and you got lucky Joe Burrow didn't get hurt.
Well, they picked up an offensive guard.
100, yeah.
From the Buccaneers.
Yeah, that's always a good thing.
And the center.
Right, and you'll probably draft some offensive linemen to build depth.
Yeah.
For the Bengals, I think getting more defensive pieces is always nice. The thing is, I'm trying to think of the Bengals as what they desperately needed, and like their defense was solid, so I think it's shore it up where you can. So like they re-signed. Sorry.
We got Browns picked up Chase Winovich.
Oh yeah, we straight up traded Mac for Winovich. Yeah.
Okay. That's actually a good deal, man. I like Winovich.
I do too. I didn't really mention it because I felt like we fixed a part of our linebacking issue. I think we still need more linebackers. Like we have JOK and Winovich, which I think is good. I still want to have another option there.
Yeah, I think overall their offseason was pretty good when you add Watson to it. Now he's going to be suspended in 2022. I don't think he's going to see the field. So we're going to have a year of Chase Keenum.
And say Chase Keenum. That's a new player. Where's he from? The USFL?
Yeah, exactly.
Right, and that's kind of my big thing with Watson is like this first year I think is the most important year of looking at this trade because if he gets suspended the entire year, that's a big oh shit moment because everything we splurged for we don't have, and obviously I think we're going to sign a lot of people to multi-year contracts, and my thing is I'm scared that if we don't go into it, this is my fear as a Browns fan, is I'm scared that if we go into this year with this mindset of we got this, let's go, and then we just don't get it, I'm afraid that our front office is going to panic and do something stupid. Obviously, I should have more faith in them, but it's I just don't because this team has a really bad history.
Man, the Detroit Lions did a bunch. Holy crap. Well, they signed a bunch of guys that were already on the team.
Yeah. You got okay, I will say, though, DJ Chark is huge.
Yeah.
It's a 1-year deal, but the Lions are able to win games. They could have won more games last year. You got the draft coming up. You pick up some good talent. I say draft an edge rusher or safety. I prefer the edge rusher. Go with that. I think that's good because I think the Lions could have won more games last year if their defense could stop anything earlier in the year.
So I'm looking at the grading that the CBS Sports gave teams. The Houston Texans got a D+.
Why? Is that before the Watson trade? Because I think the Texans
but they didn't get anything yet for the Watson trade except picks.
Well, yeah. My thing is just
they picked up the Commanders QB Kyle Allen. Jaguars
Ogunjobi,
Ogunbowale, right? Cedric Ogbuehi, AJ Can. I mean, they picked up a ton of people, man, a ton, and they're just they basically took a bunch of cheap deals, man. It's a bunch of $2 million, $3 million, $4 million guys, man.
Yeah. And the thing is, though, I feel like that D is a bit mean. I'd say give them a C because they were dealt a pretty crap hand. Because here's the thing, Watson wasn't gonna play for you guys, so you had to take the best deal. And I think the best deal, we didn't give them any active players, which some team probably would have. But I think getting that haul of picks gives you a really good opportunity to build the team. And I think that's what they were looking for because they're kind of playing with house money. Because let's be honest, they'll have a high first rounder next year. And they'll have the Browns first rounder.
Yeah. Yeah, true. I tell you, Jacksonville went hog too, man. Pretty much split 60-40 on offense to defense, man. They're trying to give the dude some weapons, man.
Which, I get it. Give them weapons. But at the same time, I'm looking at some of these moves why?
Right.
It's I get it. obviously you want to pay him money, but it's like, I understand the cap's going up, and I understand that it's like, or whatever. Like, they're not gonna be good next year. And, like, that's kind of why I'm giving this move and I don't care, because it's not like you're gonna be competitive. You might win games, but I don't think anyone's looking at the Jaguars roster and talent and going, yeah, that's a team I'm scared of in the AFC South.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just looking at the Chargers, definitely. Chase Daniel re-signed. Defensive tackle, outside linebacker, cornerback, safety. Wow. Yeah, they went all defense, man, with 2 offensive pickups, man.
I mean, honestly, I like that mindset of building the defense.
Yeah. Rams, all they did was re-sign their own dudes, so there's nothing new there.
Oh, what? They got... Oh, my God, I'm blanking. I looked this up. They got Allen Robinson.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh, why doesn't it say... He was with Chicago, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was, I believe, a free agent this year.
Yeah, he was. The Browns were going to look at picking him up, but when I look at
We
it...
sold our soul for Deshaun.
Sure.
Yeah, like, thing is, though, I don't know what happens to Odell at this point, because you got Allen Robinson, you've got Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, and Matt Stafford throwing to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's scary. Maybe Odell takes a harsh pay cut to stay on the team.
Yeah.
But, like, I think
I don't know. Is that the same Allen Robinson from Chicago? Because
yes.
I'm looking at the site, and typically what they show is what the team they're coming from. And in the list for Los Angeles, they don't show it coming from Chicago. They're literally just showing it's just a signing.
Well, it was a signing because he was a unrestricted free agent. They signed him. They didn't trade for him.
All right.
So he wasn't so much coming from the Bears as he was off the Bears and then went somewhere else. I'm using Over the Cap to kind of do my quick checkup through stuff. And Over the Cap shows the 2021 team and the 2022 team.
Yeah.
Also, for some reason, though, they made the colors of the Bills and the Bears almost the same, and I kind of hate it.
Ew. Yeah.
It's like I'm looking at the screen from a distance, and the difference is the orange is slightly darker.
Dude, Brian Hoyer's still playing football, man.
Don't ask me how.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. But, like...
All right, man. What do you think? I'm a little spent.
I think I want to go over like what else is happening in sports right now. Just a quick kind of overview, and I want to take a look at UFC 274. But baseball's coming back. That's big. I'm not a huge baseball guy. I don't follow it all that much.
Apparently, the Guardians is Spanish for make no off-season moves because they did nothing.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm interested to see how this season goes because I feel like I didn't hear about us doing anything, plus a rebrand, plus we're the team that formerly was the Cleveland Indians.
Yes, the Guardians.
I feel like we're always competitive, but never enough to get over the hump.
No, well, I mean, we've been to the World Series a couple times over the last 10, 15 years, you know, so.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where it's like we made it and we just couldn't get it done. That's what hurts the most. It's like...
yeah, but Game 7 against the Cubs was a phenomenal game. And,
yeah.
You know, I mean, it's like, you know, for their being a small market team that doesn't spend a bunch of money and being able to be that competitive is pretty phenomenal, man. It really is, man. Mm-hmm. It's you know, you got the Chicagos and all these guys that are big market teams that are able to spend a bunch of money. You know, they've got TV contracts they can fall back on where we don't.
Right.
You know, and so, you know, for us to be that competitive is a pretty big deal, man.
Yeah, I can agree with you there.
If you ask around baseball and you ask everybody, you know, who's got the best minor league football or baseball teams, right? They all point to the Cleveland Indians, man, because Cleveland Indians have done a phenomenal job building up their minor leagues, man. to farm talent into the majors. And I think we're one of the top teams to bring, talent through our minor league divisions into the, into the top and or trade them and get people that we need in order to compete in the season. So they do a nice job for a small market team.
Right. Yeah, I think you bring up a great point there. And to kind of keep moving, because you said you were kind of done, UFC 274 is coming about, and I follow UFC and a general look at MMA, not so much Bellator 1, but I do kind of keep an eye on them somewhat. There's some pretty good fights on 274. Number 9 ranked flyweight Matt Schnell is taking on number 4 Brandon Royval. That's a fight that's probably worth looking at. It's be a major shakeup to the rankings, and probably if Royval wins, he might be next in title contention. In women's, you have Norma Dumont, number 15, taking on number 10, Macy Chiasson in the women's featherweight. It's not a huge ranking shift, but in the women's division, a lot of stuff is very fluid. So if Dumont makes that jump, she could quickly begin to charge up the rankings, and women's featherweight is always a very chaotic and fluid division. Donald Cerrone is fighting Joe Lauzon. It's just...
So is that the 26th fight that you and I are going to?
No, that is Curtis Blades versus... Name I'm forgetting. Oh my god.
I'm looking forward to that, by the way.
I am looking forward to that as well. Michael Chandler is fighting Tony Ferguson, that card as well. This isn't a super important fight, I feel like, because I like Ferguson. I think he's a great fighter, but his last fights, he's been run over. Gaethje murdered a man. Benil Dariush murdered him. And now he's fighting Michael Chandler, who I believe is a better fighter. Yes, Chandler lost to... Yes, Chandler has lost 2 fights. But here's the thing. Those 2 fights that he lost were to current people challenging for the belt.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's fair, right?
Right, and it's like, okay, Michael Chandler's still competitive. I don't think we can write him off. I don't think... I want Ferguson to... I wouldn't mind Ferguson winning, but... While they're ranked number 7, number 5, I think this is a Chandler fight. So I think it'll be a good way to see how Chandler either rebounds or does and kind of get an idea. Because I think a win puts him back in title fight contention. Just because...
You'll find out if he's becoming a gateway guy or if he's going to become a pride contender.
Yeah. My thing is just like... The lightweight division in men's could basically be, you can kind of pick anyone ranked 1 through 5 and throw them at Oliveira, and you'd be like, all right, that works. Because I think they're all fun matchups you could do something with. I think they're worth watching. You have 2 championship fights at 274. Rose Namajunas, Carla Esparza. Rose is always a fun fighter to watch. It's not the Zhang Weili rematch, but Carla Esparza should be a good fight. She is ranked number 2. I need to do some more digging into her, but if I remember correctly, this is a pretty even matchup, at least numbers-wise in my head. I believe style-wise, I think it's a little odd for both fighters and how they fight. The main event is Charles Oliveira taking on Justin Gaethje. That's a fun fight because both fighters have that ability to finish a fight in some way. Gaethje's is much more of the highlight reel X factor, and despite the fact he was a wrestler, he has not yet thrown a takedown in the UFC. Oliveira, on the other hand, is a spider monkey and will choke you out in 7 different ways before Sunday. Despite the fact Charles Oliveira is a fun fighter to look at, just from the sense of what he's able to do and his talent makes him interesting to try and dissect a fight for. Because you can look at a fight and say, okay, Chandler's the better striker. Chandler gets knocked out. I don't know anymore. It's like his game just opens up other pathways every time. I find it super interesting.
Cool.
But
yeah, I gotta start following UFC more, man, so we can have these conversations. Because I don't know any of these guys, man. It's I don't follow it enough.
That's fair. It's kind of hard to follow it because I will admit, some of the rosters are kind of bloated. The men's heavyweight division is a mess. You only really need to care about the top 7 or 8 fighters, because outside of that, no one's really proved themselves to be a true contender yet. And it's guys we thought, Dawkins was looking like a great contender, and then he got Derek Lewis. who then just got Derek Lewis'd by Tai Tuivasa, who now wants to fight Stipe, which I really want to happen.
Yep.
I mean, Stipe should win that, but
I'd love to see Stipe in the ring again, man.
yeah. And like with Francis getting knee surgery and maybe not coming back because Dana White and contract money is a fun combination. I don't know what's happening in the heavyweight division. Men's light heavyweight's always a fun division. I don't know. Like, I think the UFC has a lot of weight classes that are very much like, hey, they're deep and we got good talent coming up. Other weight classes like heavyweight, you're like, all right, we got like 7 fighters we know are really good. I don't know about the rest of you.
Yeah.
All right, I'll stop my ranting there. You want to take us out?
No, I'm all good, man. I love this time of year because it's I love to see all the moves football teams are making, and that's kind of where we focused a lot of our time. And I'm anxious to see how it plays out, man. I'm going to be looking forward to this season to see how it works, man.
Mm-hmm. Well, on that note, this has been Big Man Sports. See you next time.
Other thing. See you next time.
No, you can go. I didn't hit pause.
Where did Antonio Brown end up?
Currently not on a team.
Not on a team. See,
Yes.
that's where the Browns should go.
Please, no. Love of God, no.
No, I would definitely pick him up, man. He's a talented dude.
He's talented, but he's such a risk.
So what? I mean, Josh Gordon's back in football. I mean, when we tried with that dude multiple times, man.
Right, but it's like Josh Gordon's suspensions were different than like running off the field in the middle of a game.
You know what? People are going to be people, It's like you got to deal with it. But, man, what a talent, man. And to be available right now and to need another, threat wide receiver.
All right. This has been Big Man Sports. See you next time.